The way you're going to outwork everybody in 2024 is not by shaving your head or taking a cold shower every single morning. It won't be by working until your eyes fall out of your skull, and it won't be by staying up until 5 a.m. doing work either. The only way I, and hopefully you, will outwork everybody in 2024 is by adopting a mindset that fundamentally changes how and what you do. Although, to understand what that mindset is, we first must understand how to answer this question. How do you win a game that is unwinnable? This was the question that Simon Sinek, speaker and author of his breakout book, Start With Why, sought to answer in his next book, The Infinite Game. The book's target audience may be a little bit older and may have jobs that take place in corporations, but the concepts are still very applicable to anyone who's open to them. In the book, he introduces two concepts: finite games and infinite games. Finite games, as he defines them, are activities with clear rules, known participants, and most importantly, a definitive endpoint. A goal, an objective, a way that you could win. These are things like traditional sports: soccer, basketball, football, tennis. They all have fixed rules, a known player, and a definite end. Success in finite settings is typically defined as reaching an end of the game. Whether you personally win or lose is up to how you play it. These can also be things like political elections, academic exams, or even war. Someone being elected over others, achieving a score higher than a certain standard, or even conquering land by use of force are all examples of finite games. Now, before I explain the opposite of finite games, I suppose I'd like to say that there's nothing wrong with them. They're necessary for things like teamwork, critical and strategic thinking, and sometimes even entertainment. However, by contrast, infinite games tap into something much deeper that we'll get to in just a moment. Infinite games are defined by evolving players, changeable rules, and no definite end. If that sounds abstract, it's because it is. Examples of infinite games are all around us: business innovation, artistic expression, and even personal development. They're all things that have a timeline that stretches off into the sunset. You can't win at business innovation, you can only keep innovating. You can't win at artistic expression, you can only keep expressing yourself. And you can't win at personal development, you can only keep developing. All of these explanations for finite and infinite games set the book up for an exploration for two mindsets that Sinek presents, of which one of them becomes the obvious choice when faced with the question, how do you win a game that's unwinnable? A finite mindset goes hand in hand with what a finite game is. Developing these characteristics will of course make you better at finite games, but will also close you off to other opportunities, which you'll hopefully see in just a moment. The finite mindset is characterized by things like a focus on winning or beating competitors, short-term gains for immediate results, zero-sum thinking, which is thinking that someone else's loss is your gain, and resisting deviations to a plan. And keep in mind, these are all pretty good things to find proficiency in if you're trying to be the best, let's say, soccer player. To be the best, your team's gotta beat everyone, make decisions to get the most goals in a certain amount of time, take advantage of the other team's skill or lack thereof, and stick to the plays you drew up in the locker room. The infinite mindset, however, is characterized by viewing success as mere progress and not a final state of winning, long-term vision for sustainable outcomes, win-win thinking, also known as an abundance mindset, and flexibility or adaptability. Although it is just a little bit more abstract, the infinite mindset is what separates the good from the great, and especially today, the people that are around for a little flash in the pan versus those who are in it for the long haul. So how does this relate to outworking everybody? Well, when I considered that question, I wondered why I would want to outwork everyone in the first place. Was it to make all of the money? Was it to be the best Instagram or YouTube creator ever? Or was it to get a big house on the beach or drive the coolest car or finally get some sort of external validation? Sure, those things would be nice, but if you notice, they all fall under the finite mode of thought. If I and if you genuinely want to outwork everyone, you first have to ask yourself why you want to through the lens of the infinite mindset. I've been making videos since I was a baby boy, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. Seeing as I still feel like a kid, I still want to do that. That same kid never dreamed of owning his own business, but now that I have one, I'm obsessed with improving it, reaching more people, and continuously evolving it. Are there people that are better creators than me? Yes, of course there are. And of course, some people have similar businesses to mine. But seeing their similarity and success as a reason not to work hard on the things that I feel passionate about is a very finite-minded way of thinking. They have experiences and skills that are well beyond me, as do many of the people in your life. So in order to outwork everyone, it's not about being better than your competition or making all the money in the world. It's about winning the unwinnable. The only way to win the unwinnable is to keep playing the game. The truth is, you can't win at life. You can only keep living it. The problem is, however, we live in a culture where there are lines drawn in the sand between what success and failure is. The constant need to frame everything you post and everything you see online as a win or an experience to be envied cultivates finite-minded thinking. In reality, to truly find fulfillment, you first need to find a game that you don't mind playing for the rest of your life. Stop trying to win and start trying to play. The more fun you have, the longer you'll want to do something. Sometimes it is just that simple. Thanks for listening. Here's a video that YouTube thinks you should watch next. And with that, keep scrolling mindfully.